Hey, how's it going? What's up, YouTube? It's Ash Coyote here. Today we are going to be talking about something that is very important. So I've had several requests on my channel for voice training exercises. And if you don't know what voice training exercises are, essentially what it is when you transition, your voice doesn't really transition with you. So you have to transition your voice. So in order to get a feminine voice, like I have, you have to go to voice training. Some people undergo surgery or operations, which we can go into a little bit later. So you might be asking, why is it important to do voice training? I mean, the simple answer is that if you want to blend into society and you want to feel comfortable and you don't want to be misgendered and stuff, a lot of times if you started out with a voice like mine, it would be kind of challenging to pass as a woman. Just so you all know where I kind of come from, I'm gonna give you my boy voice, and I am not super proud of this. In fact, I'm actually kind of embarrassed, but here we go. Hey, how's it going? It's Ash. This is what my voice basically used to sound like. I'm gonna pitch back up, sorry. God, that's a little dysphoric to go through. I mean, not kidding, it's kind of dysphoric. That's not fun. Okay, before we get started, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. All right, so jumping into it, tips and tricks for having a feminine voice. So there are the 3 P's. So there is pitch, prosody, and placement. Pitch is essentially the tone in which you are speaking. So that's like, for a feminine voice, people usually say 180 to 200 hertz is kind of the beginning of a feminine voice. So prosody is essentially how you say the words. It's how you kind of add that tone, that little bit of inflection to your speech pattern. So that will kind of give people a more feminine read on your voice. And then finally, placement. So feminine voices come from the front of your mouth. So we are gonna go over a few exercises that will really help you get your voice to the front of your mouth. So feminine voices tend to be more frontal, more nasal, and masculine voices tend to be more in your throat. So we're gonna go over that. Don't try and jump all the way up to the top before you actually have the basics covered. Otherwise you'll end up with what I had. So I ended up having to have surgery because I had vocal polyps that had developed from poor vocal training habits. Finding your pitch. So we start out with a little hum. So we go, and you try and hit that right range. So you're gonna use an app on your phone. So, you know, get out your phone, download a app that will measure your pitch. There are several on the App Store. I will link them in the description below. And essentially what you wanna do is you wanna measure your pitch on your phone. And that's gonna give you a really good idea of what is going on. We're gonna work on placement a little bit. So placement is essentially where you're placing your voice. So we're gonna go back to that same exercise, which is humming. So we're gonna go, and you should actually feel the tip of your lips start to tingle when you have it placed in the right place. So you wanna throw your voice forward. And a bad example would be this. So that's back in the back of my throat. And you can see just by simply forcing it forward, so it changes, and it changes the quality of the voice. So let me speak from my throat. Hi, I'm Ash Coyote. And then let me speak from the front of my voice, which is what I'm doing right now. So essentially I'm throwing my voice into my mouth and into my nasal cavity. That is super important. That is exactly how you end up making this work. With placement, it takes practice. And practice is essentially this. So you will do exercises like the malms. So it is essentially this. Malm. And then you'll do that a couple times. So it's like a chant. You could do the me ma moos. Me ma moo. And that will essentially help you kind of get into that right rhythm for getting your voice in the right place. And I recommend practicing this stuff every day. Practice it in the car. Practice it while you are going to work. While you're at home, in the shower even. I mean, showers work great because it helps with your voice and your vocal cords anyways. So you're gonna find that this is gonna be challenging to actually place your voice forward for this prolonged period of time. In fact, you will see that if you watch me in my streams, that I get vocal fatigue. And vocal fatigue is a very real problem, and this is something to keep in mind when you are training your voice. Okay, so finally, prosody. So I know that I listed it pitch, prosody, and placement, but we are going to prosody last. And why? Because prosody is essentially how you speak the words. The first 2 bits, so pitch and placement, are something that you can do right now. Prosody is something you have to learn over time. So pay attention to how women in your family speak, women in your region speak, and try and copy their inflection patterns. So I often found that feminine voices tended to place more of like a question mark on the end. So instead of kind of ending on a low note, so like they would end on a high. So it'd be like, hey, how's it going? See, it's a brighter finish instead of, hey, how's it going? Which allows it to kind of trail off, right? So the more masculine you speak, it tends to kind of be monotone and drop at the end. The more feminine you speak, it tends to kind of end on these little high notes, these little peaks. And those little peaks are essentially what you want to reach when you are having a feminine voice. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helped. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Also, if you'd like to support me in my creative endeavors, please consider donating to my Patreon at patreon.com/ashcoyote. Thank you so much. Bye.